Welcome to day 3 of our Strangers on the Way devotional series. Day 3 is one of my absolute favorites. It's a very fond memory of mine from a season that I was in transition and just trying to discern what was coming next, but really being in a season of rest. And so if you're in a season of transition, I pray that this story speaks to you. So day 3, Roy, a hostile dreamer. There's no such thing as a small act of kindness. Every act creates a ripple with no logical end. Scott Adams. What do you want to do while you're here in San Diego? I want to dance. Great, I'm the guy that usually takes people out. 2 weeks into a trip to California, I arrived in San Diego. I had recently quit my job and I was desperately seeking rest. I decided to book a stay at a hostel by the beach so I could meet new people and, live by the beach for a couple of days. I immediately met Roy, a worker at the hostel. He had a glimmer in his eye and big dreams in his heart. I want to own a hostel one day, so I'm working from the ground up, he told me. After a successful career, he decided to take some time off to assess the next phase in his life, and his dream was born out of that. As the week went on, I got to know Roy here and there. What amazed me most was his kindness toward everyone. One day, a group staying at the hostel went for a walk, and Roy bought one of the girls a pair of sunglasses. She had recently moved from Brazil and didn't have sunglasses. One night, we had a bonfire with s'mores on the beach, and Roy went around and chatted with every single person to make sure they felt included. On my last night in San Diego, I went out with some of the other guests, and when we came home, I asked Roy where the best spot in town was for late night pizza. He said, I ordered a pizza actually, and I'm happy to share it with you. I figured you guys would be hungry when you got back. He then heated up the pizza on the stove for each of us. On my last day in San Diego, Roy and I took a walk to a cove area on the beach, and Roy said something that shifted my perspective. Recently, I had felt God leading me to quit my job. I had no idea what was next, but part of the reason I was in California was to seek wisdom. Roy had gone through a similar season and said, I used to feel shame because people would ask me what I did and I'd say nothing. But after some time, I realized that I was given the privilege to decide what I really wanted out of life, not only with a job, but also in my relationships, and that takes time. During that time, I began to dream, and that's when this owning a hostel idea was born. As he spoke, I felt my heart filling with hope. When we arrived at the cove, we met a few strangers who were also there. One man was playing bongos, and another young woman who sat on the rocks told us she recently had a divorce. We shared our stories and soaked in the ocean air together. As I took a breath, I realized it was the first time on the 3-week trip that I had finally relaxed. I was present, enjoying the people around me, and I could breathe. I had gone to California seeking peace and rest, and I had finally found it. Time with Roy changed my entire perspective on the season I was in. It's so funny because I went to California looking for answers, and instead God gave me a friend who reminded me how to be a friend who showed me the exhilaration of random acts of kindness, a friend who listened and met me where I was at, a friend who filled me with hope, a friend who helped me relax and enter into rest. As we sat on the cove together that last day, I took a deep breath and whispered to God, thank you. Surrounded by new friends, soaking in the ocean air together, I had finally let myself simply be, and all of a sudden a band of dolphins swam across our gaze. I excitedly pointed and said, Roy, look! And he smiled, sat back, and said, isn't this what it's all about? And fully present, I could finally see, yes, this is exactly where we were supposed to be. And so now we're going to spend a little bit of time reflecting. We're going to do it in the form of weigh, wonder, activate, and yield. So wonder. What season are you in personally? Do things feel consistent and steady, or do you sense a beginning, ending, or transition coming? What do you notice? What is changing or shifting? Write a few sentences about the season you're in and how it feels to be there. what's changing, what's shifting, or does it feel pretty steady and consistent? You can pause this video and just write a couple things, and then we'll activate. Now for our activate. Imagine your current season is an actual season: spring, summer, fall, or winter. In the spring, things are blooming. New things are beginning and momentum is building. With summer comes ease and fruit. Summer is an overflow of, and a lot of outward growth is visible. Fall is a preparation for winter. Just as the leaves fall off the trees, there may be some letting go. Winter is where hidden growth happens. It may feel like an invisible or hidden season, but deep roots are being forged. Ask God what season you're in and write what you sense below. Spring, summer, fall, or winter, what season are you in? You can pause this video and write. And you can ask God too, God, what season am I in? And I believe that He'll bring one of those to mind. It's really helpful to know what season we're in. Because sometimes we can't be expecting fruit when we're in winter and deep roots are being forged, for example. So, God, what season am I in? Go ahead and ask that. And finally, we'll yield. Each season has an intentional purpose. Just like vegetables are planted, watered, and harvested, our lives are like that too. There is a rhythm and each part has meaning. Have you been resisting the season that you're in? I invite you to pray this prayer with me. God, thank you that you are so intentional with my life. I accept this season that I am in, and I ask that you help me squeeze every ounce of goodness and meaning out of it. Even if it feels uncomfortable, I trust you. I trust you in this season, and I trust you in the next. Please be my shepherd and guide me. Amen.